came like a king, I left like a legend.
Zero people.
That's one of the most stupid questions.
Zero people.
I play all my season. Was shit.
Hello, listeners. Welcome to Iberian Thursdays. A lot of things have happened in Spain, and we're not only talking about the Madrid derby. Real Sociedad is on top with Atletico. It's a long weekend ahead with games also midweek. What happened? What's going to happen? All of this and much more in today's Iberian Thursdays. Welcome everyone to Iberian Thursdays. A lot has happened on La Liga front, less on the Liga Nos front, but we have a lot to talk about. We have an interesting week ahead. So we're recording this on Tuesday. So we don't know yet the result of La Liga because there are very interesting games ahead. They have Real Madrid, Athletic Bilbao, and Barcelona, Real Sociedad this evening. Interestingly enough, those are the most interesting games of this week, midweek. On the weekend, it looks rather dull, to be honest, except for what would be otherwise a very interesting match between Barcelona and Valencia. Won't be that much interesting this week. So let's take this bite by bite, guys. Real Madrid, we were discussing them last week. They were under pressure both in Europe and at home, playing against Gladbach and on the weekend against Atletico. Won both. Everything is okay, right?
Well, that's a big statement, I think. I don't think everything is okay. Everything is definitely better now, even just from a pressure standpoint. They have shown that they have the capability and they have the youth intake already in-house to manage to do a decent season. Atletico Bilbao, it's not the Atletico Bilbao of the beginning of this century either, which means that I think they have a good chance. However, what I have missed a lot this year from Real Madrid is consistency. They have managed to win key games. They have managed to defeat a strong opponent. Also, when we look, for instance, at their Champions League round, they did manage to go quite easily through that. However, they sometimes struggle with the less expected teams, such as Atletico Bilbao might be.
Well, actually, while it is true that Real Madrid was not very consistent this year, they did win the key matches, right? They already won El Clásico. Last week they won against Atletico, the derby of the city, and winning the derby against the team, the strongest competitor for the title, might be one of those turning points of the season. And of course, they also passed the group stage of Champions League. So even if Real has not been at its best now, maybe it is time for Los Blancos to shine again. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm quite interested to see. So now the pressure is a bit off Zidane's back. Quite interested to see if finally they're going to support a bit during this winter transfer market, because Real Madrid looks quite laggy. Midfield is the same as usual with Casemiro, Modric, and Kroos. You see Marcelo also playing every game. Benzema. We're seeing a lot of the players are with a lot of pressure. So I'm thinking that they will have an interesting summer transfer market for sure because of their plans around Mbappe and Haaland, but they probably will need some support. Right, Marco?
Yeah, absolutely. Then again, it's also a matter about financials, right? When we look at their balance sheet, they really want to have a big plus this year. They got rid of big wages to be able to splash the cash at the end of this season, really. So the next transfer market. I doubt that doing movements and purchases such as, let's say, Barcelona has done last January with a striker that they definitely overpaid and has under-delivered compared to how much money they have spent. that is a problem that big team will always face when they need to fill 1-2 key position in January. It's a matter of what they want to do with the season. If the goal is to let's make a white blank new starting point for a new generation of Galacticos, then I don't think they should actually buy people. Anyone really. If they want to still win something this season, then I struggle to see how they can do without a couple of purchases. Then again, with the team that they have, can they really buy anyone for less than 30 million that would drastically increase the quality of the team? Personally, I doubt it. And yes, there are a couple of key players that are not anymore in their golden years. Marcelo is one of them, and there was key analysis showing how basically anytime Marcelo plays, Real does about half the points where Marcelo does not play. At the same time, I think that the problem of Real Madrid this year is in the dressing room atmosphere. If I look at, I have this memory of Champions League game they have lost when Benzema was talking to Mendy during the halftime, saying, "Don't pass the ball to Vinicius because he's playing with them, not with us." That incident, I think, really summarizes the issues that Real Madrid has. It's not about the individual players. I think it's about the gel that the players have with the others.
Oh, it is true. It is true. It's going to be quite interesting to see how they will evolve strategically, also Real Madrid this season. But from one side of Madrid to the other, the loser, in this case of the derby last weekend, they're still comfortably on the top. I mean, now they are matched with Real Sociedad, but Real Sociedad has 2 games more than Atletico. But there's still no reasons to worry, right? Stay.
Yeah, I mean, they are still solid. This weekend they're playing against Elche, which should not be the hardest opponent for them. And of course, there's they had to get over the match against Real Madrid, which must have been disappointing for them. Probably they were expecting either to win that or at least to be a better opponent to Real. But if they just clear their minds and play as they can, I think it must be an easy win for Atletico next weekend.
Yeah, and if we look at in terms of their form, we always discuss that there is no home and away matches anymore in the Corona times, but you can still see that playing at home will be an advantage. I mean, Atletico has 6 games played at home. They have 5 wins, 1 draw. They have plus 14 goals. Away from home, the story is a little bit different. So they have a loss and a draw. That they have only a plus 3 in terms of goals. So you can see that they're more comfortable playing at the Wanda, and maybe that's going to be a final push.
Yeah, I mean, the stadium always bring, even just from a confidence standpoint, a couple of extra points. You know how the pitch is. You know where, for instance, the ball rolls slightly faster. The length of the grass, which we know has been a big factor in La Liga. There have been thousands of discussions for every Barcelona Real Madrid that happened about the length that Mourinho was giving the grass at. So even just these small pieces add to the confidence level that the team has. Fans are a major factor, and indeed we see across Europe it's less of a dominance of home team compared to away teams as it was in the past. Then again, it's still a factor. I think it doesn't go away that quickly.
Yeah, even just because of the journey. I mean, even when the journey is not too long, it is just a few hours by bus. That still must play some sort of factor. It's always better, of course, to just get out of your apartment and being on the pitch already, and must play a role.
Definitely. Another interesting match that we need to discuss is the one opposing Barcelona and Real Sociedad. It's going to be a really crunch one. I mean, Real is now level on points, as stated before, with Atletico. They have David Silva, the most correct man according to Lazio sporting director and the face of the world. So it's going to be an interesting one, right? I mean, we've seen that Real Sociedad can play ball.
I think this is a key game for Real Sociedad. Winning this game would finally make the statement that many have done on the press, on the journals, that they are a contender to the league title. Reality. If they were to win this game, they would have to face it and accept the reality. Right now, as it always happened for these Cinderella teams, there's a lot of pushback of, no, our goal is to get to Europa League, and we're just playing game by game, every game is a final, and so on. So the all same routine. I think if they were to win this game, they really have to play for the league, which, getting back to what we were discussing as well, right? What is the performance of a team, whether they go out or they stay in Europa? It might be the case that the Real Sociedad wants to drop the Europa League card to really focus on the league this year when they have a chance. This year, then when they did a transfer market with key players such as David Silva that are bringing quality. I think this could be the beginning of a new Real Sociedad.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of
That's
course,
quite interesting.
Sorry, Alex. Of course, our listeners cannot see that because they're not watching us. But every time Marco says David Silva, there's a tear dropping from his eyes. Every single time he says David Silva. But another thing I was going to say, am I the only one triggered by the whole we're going to play every match like it's the finals thing? Because I hate it so much. I can't stand it. Like it's a sentence that doesn't mean anything. Everybody says that all the time and it doesn't have any meaning. And I just hate it so much.
Especially in a season where you have so many matches followed by each other, 3 days between them. If you play every match like it's the last, like it's a final, you're not going to survive past match number 5.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
just one of those
absurd
figures that managers say when they have nothing better to say, in my opinion.
Yeah. If there's a manager that can't say that ever, is the Benfica manager. Otherwise, they would probably end up last in the league.
That's for sure. That's for sure. And taking that detour provided by Marco, let's go over to Portugal. So last weekend was quite boring one, also known as Cup weekend. So nothing really to shout out about. Big teams won, some of them more convincing than others, but no surprises. However, next weekend, at least the league is back. But sadly enough, the most interesting game you can take out of that is actually Braga against Milan's favorite opponents, Rio Ave. Those ones are the toughest match. I mean, Milan and Braga, at least they share colors, so maybe that will also mean that Rio Ave will have some upper hand. Otherwise, you have Porto with Nacional. Should be a clear one for Porto. We're not expecting a big changes. Nacional is actually doing quite good this season. Similarly, Gil Vicente playing at home against Benfica. That's a traditionally harder one for Benfica to go away. And Sporting plays against Farense. Again, all of those between 10th and 11th place should be easy wins for the big ones, right, Marco?
Yeah, it's also a matter of form, right? If we look at who else won from the 9th place below the last game, there's really only one, Farense. For the rest, it's really losses. I think quality is coming out right now. Like, you can really see the difference that the big team have over the others. On the long term, we knew that would have happened. Probably in the beginning, it wasn't as clear as it has been other time. Although the top 3 are always there up top and always have been, right? But I think the length of the team are playing a big factor for these many games back to back, and the big team will have a fair advantage from now until the winter break, really. Or the transfer market, either way, when you can change something in your team. And I think they're going to have the upper end, and I think this good moment of form will continue for the one up front. Let's see if the Sporting can get back to the winning streak they had before the last row. But other than that, I think it's quite a straightforward weekend, at least on paper.
Yeah, I agree. I think the most interesting is going to be the transfer market, as you said, to see which ones are going to push and which ones are going to pull. So Benfica is definitely taking a pull strategy. They're not going to, well, they already invested so much this season. The CFO said enough is enough. There's no more cash. We will need to sell players during the Christmas, during the winter transfer market. So that is clear. They need to have a profit from that window. Let's see if they're going to make it with normal sales or, you know, those inflatable sales in which they get support from some agents. Sporting might be in a push situation, seeing as they haven't won the league since 2001, 2002, more or less like Lazio. But again, Lazio has, you know, big teams and a lot of teams competing against them, while Sporting only has two. And it's, you know, we're always seeing that almost 20 years ago, winning a league, it's quite sad. And it is an opportunity for Sporting to, you know, with a small push, maybe one or two players might make a big difference right now in the winter transfer market, given that Sporting also has no European competitions to play. And that is actually the point that Ste made at the beginning. You know, in terms of that might actually be an interesting push, right? If we don't have European competitions, it should be easier, right, Ste?
Yeah. I am just curious to empirically have a solution to my question, because I change my mind every time about it. But we are gonna see whether Europe was good to them or not in terms of championship chances.
Well, maybe getting back to your question, Alex, or rather to your point, who do you think Sporting should buy as a starting 11 player? As not having Europe, I don't think the length of the bench is as key as for Benfica or Porto.
Yeah, no, definitely. There is no such needs in terms of having a big bench. Currently, we would have 1 to 2 issues. So basically, we have a striker. So we play with a traditional 3-4-3. Not traditional because it's not very common, but 3-4-3 with having 2 players behind the striker, a bit like Atalanta used to play. I'm not sure if they still play like that, in which they had Papo Gomez and Ilicic supporting a striker. So our issue is the striker. Right now, it varies a lot. We have Sporar, which is the fixed striker who's able to hold the ball and give it away to other. That supports a lot, and that's also responsible why Pot has scored so many goals. Now the issue is, will you keep this or will you try to find another striker? Because we have young Thiago Tomás coming from the bench. He's quite fast, but he doesn't hold the ball as good. The issue with Sporar is, yes, he's helping the others score, but can't score. Should we tamper with it and maybe take the risk of losing it, investing a lot of money again on a striker? That's the main worry now. Because in the summer it was clear we needed one. Now we apparently found a solution with Pot scoring all those goals. Should we change it?
That's kind of an existential dilemma. And, I'm not sure I have the answer for that. But Marco looks like he does, right?
I was thinking, to be honest, about players that could really make a change in Sporting based on what you were saying and the amount of money that Sporting can pay right now. Not just in terms of buying a player, but also in terms of wages. And if we're looking at key player that can really make a difference, I guess in this moment in time, you probably need to go to South America. Maybe someone like Borré can be an interesting player, still quite cheap, probably for 5-7 million you could get him. Because if I look in Europe, it has to be a loan. And probably the best you can get is someone like Petagna. It's not playing much at Napoli, but he has the very same problem as we just discussed. Player that can keep the ball up, can support the team, can score too much. But if we're looking at the high in Europe, medium to high team, the wages already skyrocket quite a lot. And let alone if we need to buy those players, it's even a bigger expenditure that I'm not sure if Sporting can do, given how they're playing right now. So I would probably go with a South American bet. If it doesn't work, you still have quite a strong team that can play, and that has been shown in the first half of the season. Were that player to really be the changing one for the team, well, then just better, and you can still revert back were there to be an injury.
Yeah. Plus, in a player like Petagna, would be an interesting solution. But then again, Napoli needs him. Osimhen is not there. They don't know when they're going to come back. He's one of the very few physical strikers they have, less mobile but more physical than the others. So they wouldn't loan him out, without big money from Sporting. And also Napoli still has to play Europa League. So it's not like they only have the Serie A.
No. They have money coming in from Milik, right? Milik is leaving Napoli this January or at the end of the season as the contract is running out. So they have some money coming in. They could give Petagna out by a new player, but there's a lot of ifs. Fully agree with you. And with ifs, you can't really make too much of a transfer market, right? I guess that's going to be a topic for one of the upcoming episodes as well, just to see what can be done, how can it be done, and what will eventually be done.
Exactly. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for being here for Iberian Thursdays. Thanks, Te, and thanks, Marco.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. But aren't you forgetting something?
Meme section of the day!
So for today's meme section, I think Alex has something to tell us, right?
Yes, I do, guys. Yes, I do. The meme section of this week is brought to you by Sergio Conceição. Conceição gave a press conference last week talking about how to make easy money. So he said, guys, I'll give you 1 million euros. So that's an easy way to get money. Just need to do one thing. You need to find a line in which he criticizes another manager playing too defensively. Easy money, right? All you need to do is a lot of Googling. But he guarantees you he's not paying it because he won't find it. So that's the Portuguese meme of the week.
I gotta go hard now. I need 1 million.
Yes. If you hear some keyboard sound, guys, you know what I am currently doing.
I think that the whole press conference of Sergio Conceição basically is going to look through all of them and learn Portuguese in the middle to understand everything that he's saying.
Right, that's a fair point.
Okay, guys, thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Bye.